Hey y'all, it's Missy again with the Hip Kit Club, and I have a new layout for you today. I'm using the 2016 August kits. And before I get started, I had planned on using my Silhouette Cameo to create a background design, but it decided to freeze up on me and it got a little corruption virus going on. So I was without it for a few days. So I had to do my layout with some other things to create a look that I would have gotten with my Cameo. I pulled these letters out from my stash. These are from the My Mind's Eye Necessities collection, and I never use them. They're shiny blue foil. And my theme for this week is supersize it. And so I initially thought I'm going to use my sketch pens and draw a really big title. But then my Cameo would not work, and so I had to improvise. And I did not want to hand draw them, so I thought I have these big letters. I'm going to use them in place of stencils. So I'm going to make a really big title that says adventure, and I want it tilted and running off the edges of the page. So I'm going to just trace around these letters with a pencil. And, you know, I might have used a different font if I could have accessed my Cameo, but I wound up having to call Silhouette Studio and they got everything fixed for me. And so now I'm back in business. Thank goodness. I picked a lot of things that I'm going to use with this or on this layout with the kits, and I'm going to use some of the pattern papers to cover up some of the letters, and then the open letters that I don't cover with paper, I'm going to use the oil pastels to do some shading. And I really like how this turned out. It's very different for me, but I think the end result is really neat, and I had a good time doing this. So I'm just going to trace around some of the letters on the pattern paper and fussy cut them out. And I'm going to use that paper with the black and white is from the new Dear Lizzy. And then I'm going to use a couple of papers from the new Amy Tangerine, Oh Happy Life. I'm going to have a lot of blacks, grays, teal, reddish orange, golden yellow colors going on in this. So I go through, I think, 4 letters here on different paper, and I'm going to leave the rest of them open. And I know you can barely see it, but I do have some pencil lines there from where I traced. I'm going to go over the other letters with some clear gesso, just because I know I'm going to use a lot of those oil pastels, and I want to be able to blend the colors really, really nicely together, and the gesso is going to help with that. So I'm going to lightly stick down the paper letters here just to see what everything's going to look like. And this was the fun part. I highly recommend, if you got these in your color kit, first of all, just kind of play around with them on some scratch paper. And this was something really easy to do. I just wanted to create some shading around the edges, and to do this, I didn't even really take a lot. I just did a little scribble and then took my water brush, squeezed just a tiny bit of water, and actually got a lot of color just from just a tiny little scratch of color there. So, you know, you don't want to go to town scrubbing the pastel down a lot, because you're going to get bold color. No matter even if it's a light color or a dark color of the pastels, it puts down a lot of color with just a little bit. So that's why I recommend you experimenting with them before you do something on an actual project. So I used some of the teals and greens in the A, and now I'm going to do some of the yellows and the goldish color. And all the colors are written on the box and on the wrapper of each of the pastel. They're not in front of me right this second, so I don't know the exact names of the ones that I used. I kind of use words like yellowish, goldish, tealish, you know, I just kind of make them up as I go. Anyway, so there's my paper. I love how this turned out. I tried to do a little bit different color in each letter and try to create some shadowing and just some different looks. And I think that turned out really neat. I was very excited about how that looks. So now I'm going to come in with my picture, and I do end up adding another picture later. I wanted to go small with the picture since the title is so big, and then I'm going to add this Chipboard Today thicker sticker, I guess you could say, from Dear Lizzy. And I picked a black and white picture, mainly because I've got a lot of color going on, and the lighting was kind of off in the picture. It's a picture of my husband and me in Las Vegas, and there's a bunch of bright lights behind us, and so the color was kind of off. Anyway, I did some black machine stitching. This did take a little bit to get around all those edges, but I love how that turned out. I think it makes the letters look really crisp, and they stand out a lot more. So I'm going to put in the rest of the letters again, and I'm going to start building my embellishments. Now, to make the paper letters stand out a little bit more, I'm going to just take a black pen and lightly trace around them. Especially the E, because it's got a lot of white in it. So I printed out another picture from the same time. It's a little bit smaller, and that one's going to go over on the left. I didn't want to cover up a lot of those letters just because I think it looks really cool, and I wanted you to be able to read what it says. So now come the embellishments. I've went through all the little packages of things that we got in our kits and picked out things that I may use. I don't use some of it. Just kind of play around. I've got some of the die cuts, some of the wood veneer, some of the ephemera from the Amy Tangerine line, some of this Dear Lizzy rubber charms. I'm going to use that red heart. And I love this pack of Dear Lizzy clear stickers. They look good on anything. Have to add some thread, and I've got yellow, orange, teal, and gray picked out. And it's just going to be a subtle thing, you know. I know I always say this, but it adds just little pops of color and texture and interest in an area where, you know, you may be missing a color. So like I didn't really have any teal right there by the E, so I'm going to add a little bit of thread there. Not anything too crazy, just a little bit to draw your eye to it and say, oh, there's something there. And there are so many clear stickers in that Amy Tangerine sticker pack. I love this flower one. I wish there was more. So I cut it in half because I'm going to use half of it coming from behind the bigger picture and the other half coming over here underneath the smaller picture. And I try to dress up, you know, there's some embellishment on top of almost every letter, but I didn't want to get it too busy because, you know, I didn't want your eye to have to search and say, where's the picture? Because, you know, my pictures are small, but the title, you know, supersize it. I definitely did that. And I didn't want to overdo it. And hopefully that's not what I did. Just want to make sure everything's glued down. I'm going to add a little bit of layering behind the pictures. And that yellow is from the packaging from that Amy Tan sticker sheet. It's the perfect yellow. And I'm just treating it as a piece of pattern paper. And I'm going to use it as a layering piece here. I'm going to pop up my pictures just to give a little bit of dimension. Since everything else on the layout's pretty flat, I felt like they needed to come up just a little bit. And while I'm still embellishing, the September kits have just been revealed, so hopefully you've had a chance to look at those. They are so beautiful. I know every month, everything is beautiful, and it just never gets old seeing the new kits revealed. And so make sure you get your orders in for these September kits. I know we're going to get a new stencil, and we're going to get some more shimmers in the color kit. Lots of new things to play with. So I decided I'm going to add a little bit of these black scallops, but they're almost too dark, so I'm going to change that up here in just a second. And I'm going to fussy cut out this doodled flower, and there's only one of them. It's on that cut apart sheet, but I just wanted to use it because it kind of mimicked the sticker that I've got going behind the pictures. So I'm just going to layer it underneath the R to give it a little bit of pizzazz down there. And this is another example of how thread can just jazz up an area right there. It just gives it a little something extra. And I'm going to move that Oh What Fun sticker over. So here's where I'm going to change up the black scallops. And I did this in my video last week. I just lightened it up. I wanted it to have more of a gray tone, and so I just used the white pastel, stick my finger in some water, and just kind of smush it down and kind of create a gray tone. And it looks kind of chalky and messy, but that's okay because I like the way that looks, and I think it just makes it a little more subtle because I've got the big Today in the middle of the layout, and that is, you know, dark black. So with these gray scallops now, it's they sort of blend in a little bit more, and they don't stand out as much, but they still give a little bit of interest. So I'm still coming in with some more of these clear stickers just here and there. Little pops of red, pops of teal. And I've also got the little black hearts up at the top and at the bottom. So even though I have some gray elements going on, I still have pops of black. I decided I need a little bit of that red color over on the left. So I'm going to cut up this Project Life card and just use a strip of that red color. It's the perfect little addition right there. I think that brightens up that area, and it makes the photo pop a little bit more. And then I'm going to do the same thing over on the right to the other photo, because as you can see, it kind of looks kind of just dull over there on the right side of it. So that kind of brightens up that area without being too busy. I think I need something else underneath the picture, so I'm going to use a couple of these really small flower stickers here. I need to find a way to use those cute little giraffes. I have 0 zoo pictures, so I'm going to have to really get creative to use those. More thread. When you don't know what to put somewhere, layer in some thread. That's always my answer. And I still haven't figured out why I love that so much. I just do. I guess I just don't have a reason. Sometimes you just like something simply because. Last thing I'm going to do is come in with some black shimmers. This is called Night Moves. That's from my stash. And then I do add some journaling off camera over on the left. And I'm going to do that at an angle as well, just to continue with that diagonal design. And there's my final layout. I hope you guys like this. I had a great time putting this together, and I didn't think it would turn out as well as it did since I couldn't use my Cameo. I was kind of panicking there for a little bit, but I made this work, and I really love the result. It was fun to put together. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions about the layout, the products, Hip Kit Club, anything. I appreciate you so much for watching and for subscribing and for all your sweet comments. It really does mean a lot. And I will be back soon with another video. So I hope you guys have a great day. Take care, and I will see you soon. Thanks so much.